Humans have only been around for a brief moment in Earth's timeline, about 3 million years if you count all species within the Homo genus. In cosmic terms, that's just a blink, but in practical terms, millions of years is long enough for us to witness some fascinating and sometimes terrifying things. Our distant ancestors didn't just live through changing climates and landscapes. They also shared their world with a lineup of creatures that sound like nightmares today. We're talking saber-toothed cats, bear-like predators, elephants larger than a T-Rex, and plenty more. Unsurprisingly, some of these animals saw us as prey, something we know through fossil evidence. And while every predator that hunted humans was fearsome, some were far larger and deadlier than others. That raises the question, what was the biggest predator that actually hunted people on a regular basis? Before answering, it's worth noting that I'm not including animals like killer whales or sperm whales, since they don't naturally prey on humans and generally live far from human habitats. With that in mind, the real answer is one creature still alive today, the crocodile. These reptiles are the largest living species of their kind and thrive almost anywhere warm enough to sustain them. When you exclude disease, venom, and other indirect causes, crocodiles are the deadliest animal to humans because they deliberately hunt us as food. Saltwater crocodiles, the biggest among them, can weigh more than a ton heavier than a polar bear, the largest land carnivore alive today. But here's where things get even more interesting. The term crocodile is broad, and when I said they were the deadliest predator, I was referring to the genus Crocodylus, one of the last true crocodile groups still around. This genus has been here far longer than us, stretching back about 25 million years. And over that immense time span, it produced some colossal animals. Unfortunately for our ancestors, the largest crocodile ever discovered lived in the same region as early humans. This monster was Crocodylus thorbjarnarsoni. For over 1 million years, this beast was forgotten by human memory until researchers in Kenya uncovered massive skulls along the ancient shores of Lake Turkana. The bones clearly belonged to a crocodile, but their sheer size proved they weren't from any living species. They were simply too enormous. Dating revealed the fossils were between 5.3 and 1.8 million years old, spanning the Pliocene to early Pleistocene epochs. In its prime, this creature dominated its environment as the undisputed apex predator. The fossils suggest it reached an average length of 7.6 meters, 25 feet. To compare, the longest recorded saltwater crocodile in modern history didn't even reach 6.4 meters, 21 feet, and most are much smaller. What's more, scientists believe the size estimates for thorbjarnarsoni are actually conservative, meaning individuals could have grown beyond 8.2 meters, 27 feet. And since we only have 9 specimens so far, there's a strong chance even larger ones existed. This reptile wasn't just long, it was powerfully built, essentially a living armored tank. Its weight may have exceeded 2.5 tons, making it heavier than a hippo. Like modern crocodiles, it had bony armor across its body for protection, but on an even larger scale. Its enormous skull gave it one of the strongest bites Earth has ever seen, far surpassing even today's saltwater crocodile. A single snap of its jaws could shatter bone with ease, and unfortunately, some of our ancestors likely experienced that firsthand. During its reign, multiple human relatives lived in the same region, including Australopithecus, Kenyanthropus, Paranthropus, and early members of our own genus like Homo habilis and Homo rudolfensis. The landscape was dotted with lakes and rivers, vital sources of water and food. But those same waters also gave thorbjarnarsoni the perfect cover to ambush unsuspecting hominids. With its massive tail and muscles, it could lunge at prey with shocking speed, pulling victims into the depths before they had a chance to react. Curiously, despite knowing these crocodiles lived among our ancestors and preyed on humans, no hominin bones have been found with direct bite marks. But researchers believe there's a chilling explanation. Our ancestors were often swallowed whole, leaving no skeletal evidence behind. Imagine a saltwater crocodile attacking a small dog. That's the kind of size mismatch we're talking about. Another theory is that early humans recognized the danger and learned to avoid these predators whenever possible. Even so, experts are convinced that some unlucky individuals still fell victim to this colossal reptile. Interestingly enough, even if we discount Crocodylus thorbjarnarsoni as a candidate due to the lack of direct proof that it preyed on humans, crocodiles still take the crown as the largest creatures known to regularly hunt us. And what's even more surprising is that you don't have to switch time periods to find another contender. During the very same era, another colossal crocodile haunted Africa's waterways, Crocodylus anthropophagus, whose very name translates to human eater. That alone should give you an idea of its reputation. Although it overlapped with thorbjarnarsoni, this species emerged slightly later, close to the time the earlier giant disappeared. Closely related but distinct in several ways, Anthropophagus rivaled its predecessor in size. Calling it different almost feels misleading, since specimens suggest it could grow up to about 7.5 meters, 25 feet long, and weigh over 2 tons. What set it apart, however, was its clear track record of violence. Unlike thorbjarnarsoni, we actually have multiple fossils of early humans, specifically Homo habilis, bearing unmistakable crocodile bite marks linked to this predator. Many of these injuries were located on the legs, consistent with ambush attacks near the water's edge. One particularly grim case involves a poor individual who not only had a leg torn off by Anthropophagus, but then, incredibly, fell victim to a big cat attack shortly after. Nature certainly seems to have it out for early humans. This raised questions among paleontologists. Why did Anthropophagus leave clear fossil evidence of attacks while thorbjarnarsoni did not, despite their similar size? The unsettling conclusion is that only crocodiles below a certain size threshold left behind traces of attacks. Larger individuals likely left no evidence, not because they didn't prey on humans, but because their massive size allowed them to consume victims so thoroughly that nothing remained. A horrifying thought, to say the least. Adding to their intimidation factor, both of these crocodiles had features resembling horns. In thorbjarnarsoni, the horn-like structures were raised ridges above the eyes, similar to what is occasionally seen in modern Nile crocodiles, but larger and more consistent. Anthropophagus, on the other hand, sported far more dramatic projections above the ears. These were so distinctive that it earned the nickname horned crocodile. Males in particular seem to have displayed these features prominently, possibly to appear larger during territorial battles or mating competitions. Whatever their exact purpose, the horns only made them appear even more menacing. These predators weren't picky eaters either. Like modern crocodiles, they were generalists, attacking virtually anything that came close to the water. That included not just humans and primates, but also massive animals such as hippos, rhinos, and even young elephants. Thankfully, fossil evidence suggests their ranges were relatively restricted. They appear to have been limited to certain regions, possibly because their immense size forced them to live in deep, cool bodies of fresh water to avoid overheating, something smaller crocodiles manage much more easily. And although crocodiles require fewer calories than humans thanks to their slow metabolism, being oversized would still have been a liability during periods when food was scarce. For these reasons, scientists believe their gigantic proportions may have sealed their fate. During the Pliocene, a period of unstable climate, their dependence on large bodies of water and abundant prey left them vulnerable. By around 1.8 million years ago, both thorbjarnarsoni and Anthropophagus had disappeared. Competition with other crocodilians may have added to their downfall. The regions they inhabited were also home to several other genera. Lake Turkana alone held at least 3, the still living mesostops, the Nile crocodile still thriving there today in large numbers, and the giant Euthycodon. This last species, which lived alongside thorbjarnarsoni, is sometimes considered a rival for the title of largest true crocodile, with estimates ranging from 7.2 to over 8.5 meters, 24 to 28 feet. Still, there are caveats. The methods used to calculate Euthycodon's size tend to overestimate, unlike the more conservative measurements for Thorbjarnarsoni. Its anatomy also suggests it wasn't specialized for tackling massive prey. With a long, slender snout more like modern gharials, its teeth were narrow and pointed, ideal for catching fish rather than large mammals. So, while it may have grown to impressive lengths, it likely posed less of a threat to early humans. Like the two giant crocodiles before it, Euthycodon also vanished by the end of the Pliocene, well before Homo sapiens arrived. Once again, their great size seems to have been as much a burden as an advantage. Even so, crocodiles as a group endured, and though they aren't as diverse as they once were, they still hold their title as the largest predators across much of Africa and in many other regions of the world. Our uneasy relationship with them has survived millions of years, and even today, they remain among the deadliest animals we share the planet with.